in English, but if there's any questions, somebody doesn't understand anything, we have Georg who can. He's supposed to say it in our meeting. He's supposed to like.
Yes, I did ask
Okay. So let's start from the beginning, guys. This presentation, just to introduce myself, my name is Nigel. I'm a CEO of a company here in Yerevan called Lionsharp, and we work with the technology we're about to show you today. And you have a few more guys around. Any questions about what we do, feel free to find us after the event. But anyway, today what I want to talk about is human-computer interaction. And we also got a special thing to show you guys underneath the big red banner. Okay. So I'm going back for a bit of a history lesson first. So if we go back in time, I want to start off with what is human-computer interaction? Does anybody here know? I mean, this is a workshop, right? So you guys can talk. Anybody know what human-computer interaction means? Does anybody know what
Can you turn off these lights?
Sure. I think lights are easy. Yeah. It's okay. I can live with that. Alessandro, what is human-computer interaction?
What the word says. Humans, like us, I guess we're all humans pretty much. Computers, which are these things, when they interact with each other. Yeah? So it's about understanding this process.
So this man just here, what he just did, is he just said, this is human-computer interaction. Right?
Do you agree?
And that definitely is one way that we interact with computers. So that's absolutely right. So when things started off, computers were, of course, as we all know, numerical systems that were designed for one purpose and one purpose only, to calculate mathematical equations and solve problems for us. Wow, we have a big room. Okay, keep coming in, guys. Yeah. We had computers that we wanted to solve equations for us. And the way that we interacted with that computer was we would set these dials and these different sort of adjustable mechanical parts. We then turn it by hand. And at the end of it, you might receive some sort of like either a printout was punched from paper that would give you that. And that was your human-computer input and output. So quite incredible. And this was back in 1822 when this was, the Babbage machine was first started. We all know that like the supercomputer that followed shortly after that, we all know was the size of a room much bigger than this. And the supercomputer, again, was wires, buttons, dials, people running around pushing things into one another. And the computer, you had to have a very good understanding of the technology and what was going on. I'm speaking very fast, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, for you maybe. Okay. Okay, yes, Mikit, stand up. Awesome. Okay. So we had computers then, which were just controlled with switches, with dials, with lights, and that was our feedback, and that was our input. So one thing we know is common with all of these computers, from that time forward until the supercomputers, the first supercomputers, they all had an input and an output, right? So, okay, you guys are like, yeah, all right, let's move forward. So the important part about what does that input and output means is it usually means the human inputs something and the computer outputs something. From the output, the human adjusts, the human does something different to then change the input back into the computer. And sometimes, if the computer's clever, which modern computers are, it adjusts and adjusts back. And this is what human-computer interaction is all about. So I want to talk about, like, the problems with this. And I know that probably 80% of the room heard this story, but for the 20% who haven't heard this story, does anybody here know why the keyboard has QWERTY on the first line? The Q-W-E-R-T-Y. Yeah, you seem to know everything. You quite. All right. So I don't miss keys? Yeah. So, okay, go, say something.
I know two reasons.
Okay, that was good.
I know two reasons why. One of the reasons is marketing, because they can sell those typewriters by typing typewriter word, which is basically located, all the keys are located on the upper row.
Oh, interesting. Never saw that. Okay, cool.
And
Typewriter. Okay, cool. I didn't know that. That's why it's a workshop. It's good. Yeah.
And another reason, because they wanted to slow down the typing process.
Sure. Okay, so the famous reason is because they wanted to slow down the typing process. This is going to get hot in this room, guys, so I apologize. But anyway, The problem there was that these little metal pins, you would hit the keys, they would go so fast, they would get stuck together, and then you'd have to unjam the typewriter, start your whole typing process again. This wasn't a computer, but of course, everybody who learned to use this machine, then this is like human-machine interaction, then transferred their knowledge over to computers, and the problem was we've now been using that ever since. So for the last 20, 30, 40 years, whatever it's been, we've been using a keyboard that slows us down. And we have reprogrammed our brains to suit the computer. And that's something that I think we need to change. So this is why all the smart people in this room, this is what we're here to talk about today. We're talking about how do we change that. And what we want to present is the supercomputer. Possibly the most amazing supercomputer here in Yerevan at the moment. And we're going to, the first time present this. Yeah, can we turn on maybe one of these lights? OK, great. So, yeah. This is why I brought security with me, you know? So, OK. So the supercomputer is sitting here underneath the red cloth. And what is the supercomputer? The supercomputer is something which allows human-computer interaction on another level. So, Alessandro, I'll let you take over here and talk a bit about what this is all in. We're doing good for time, so yeah.
Do you want to show it first? Or show it?
Well, I think you guys want to see the supercomputer? So, yes?
Okay.
Huh? Is it the wave? No, there's no wave. It's here. It's just right here.
So I'm gonna take this out.
Okay, but slowly, because we don't want these guys to get too excited.
Okay.
Oh, they build up. Hey!
Come on.
The supercomputer. Okay. So, boo, right, okay. No. So we have a point to make about this, right? This supercomputer, actually, sorry, yeah.
The supercomputer does what a computer is supposed to be doing. The computer should help you doing things. So when you think, I want to do something with a computer, like any task that you have in mind, the computer should serve you and not the other way around, which, as we've seen with the keyboard. Now, let's say that we have like a normal task. Like, what could we want to be doing with this?
I don't know. I want to go to the. I'm here in Yerevan. I want to buy a house.
So you want to buy a house? That's a good commitment. Buy a house.
Yeah, Yerevan. Okay.
Okay. So is there anybody who wants to buy a house here as well, apart from Nigel?
Okay, maybe not. Maybe bring to the pub. Oh, this guy wants to do everything. All right.
You want to buy a house? So
okay.
Let's say that you can ask this computer to buy a house for you. And how would you do it?
Okay. Okay, so if you type, I want to get this stuff written down. Like, have you got a pen here somewhere? You got a pen? All right, cool. Okay, so on the supercomputer, we're going to put a keyboard, right? Okay, so we have a keyboard now on our supercomputer. Huh? Oh, we're going to go clever. Okay, we're going for the Dvorak keyboard so that it's faster and more efficient than the current QWERTY. This is a different type. Anyway, okay, so we're going to. Oh shit. Never mind. My fault. I'll put that back. Okay.
But is there somebody who hasn't had the brain already too much stuck into Dvorak keyboard and religious challenge between what keyboard is better? There's somebody who just wants to buy a house.
1 second though. I want to ask, what else do you need? So you got the keyboard, but the keyboard is just. I mean, it's not going to help you buy a house. So what else do you need? You need a mouse. Okay, so we got a man who needs a mouse. So we're adding a mouse to this supercomputer. Okay, that's interesting. Anybody got more creative ideas of how we can do this? And what else do you guys need? Okay, so we got a man that's saying speech control. That's very cool. Okay, so this man is thought control. This is like just using your brain, just thinking you want something. But how do you interface with the computer? It's really cool. But how do you interface with the computer? So you think you.
How would you transfer your thoughts to the machine?
Brain waves. Okay, so we got thought control Wi-Fi, right? It's like that's what we're doing here. All right, so we got thought control Wi-Fi. I'm putting that in. I like that.
He'll understand. I need something else.
Say that again. Sorry.
I'll sleep twice on that. Put head on that.
Oh, you're doing like direct attachments.
Yeah.
Like you put your head on the computer and it works.
It's the feature of near-field communication.
No,
Yeah.
people understand.
It's like I put my phone here, it's like, no, it's not ringing anybody. Why is it like, okay, all right. I got it, all right.
I don't mean that. I mean, I just use this
Yep.
as a home thing. And then you analyze, you need to find something better suitable for me.
Love this. Okay, love this. Okay, I'm gonna come to this point a little bit later. So I'm gonna come to exactly. I love that. Okay, I'll explain more about what that means. Okay, what else do we need though, right? So yeah, I know it's getting very hot. Maybe if you guys can keep the doors open. So what else do we need? We know that we need one thing. We need to have some feedback to the user, right? So far everybody's talking about input. How about the feedback to the user? Okay, so I'm putting a screen on this side of my supercomputer. Oh, holographic projection, like that. Oh, with just sound, like that. Okay, so I'm just going to put down sound in general.
Definitely needs this computer to be connected to some other database.
Oh, okay. So we're networking stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like we're just going to use the network, and I guess none of us can manage without the internet, right? So we're going to add the internet there as well. So we have it connected to some global internet connection. Okay, great. And is that it? Is that what a room of 100 people can come up with? Say that again? Okay, so the computer needs, oh, okay, so now we've got the internal hardware. Here we go. So, all right, so we got the processor, we got the memory, we got the motherboard, we got that. Okay, so we understand. We got processor and memory and all the stuff that makes that work. Did somebody say software? Oh, wow, I love developers. Like, yeah, software.
Sense of smell as well, you know?
We got a smell sense? Okay, I like that. So I'm going to put that on my input thing. So is it an output or an input? The smell sense. Yep, today you smell this morning. Okay, computer says you need to have a shower. All right, so great. So at the moment on this supercomputer, the one we brought today, the most amazing supercomputer in Yerevan, we have a keyboard, a mouse, speech control, thought control through Wi-Fi. We have a screen with holographic control, sound of speakers, and some smell sense coming out of it. We have a network, we have internet connection, and we have a processor and memory inside because that's what computers are all about, right?
Another thing is like we can have some plug-and-play like capabilities so it will interact with other devices in our house.
For example, washing machine.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Did you just tell my supercomputer to manage washing machines? No.
What they want to do is their task. They want to.
What?
Fair enough.
All right, that goes into my software section, goes into the washing machine software. All right, so, all right, I'm glad that we're moving forward in the world. All right, so, now the important question. My important question here today is, and I think what Alessandro and I want to talk about is, that's great. So we now have this computer. We see so many things we can do with it. And yet, if we talk about how many of these things are real right now, all of us agree that some of these things don't exist. Thought control Wi-Fi, not really. Holographic stuff, not really. Smell sense, not really. But there is stuff happening, right? Everything's being developed. The important thing is that none of us are talking, you know what we're talking about here? As a lot of you engineers, right? We're talking about features. We're talking about items. We're talking about like, we need to add software. We need to add this. We need to add that. And we're thinking of this thing as a computer, right? Now let me change this whole thing around. Imagine the supercomputer is not a supercomputer. Now we just talk about a person, right? And we talk about that person being a human being. And what does that human being need to be able to do? Well, to buy a house, I don't think I need half of these things. Actually, what I'd like to do is I'd like to just say, I want to buy a house. And I just want to say, like, I want to buy, and I maybe think, I want to buy a house. And suddenly I have options appearing in front of me, things I can choose from, visualization, smell of the new house, maybe get transported by teleporter to the new building. I want the excitement of being, I want to be the excitement of having the opportunity that the computer and the human is interacting completely naturally. And that's really what this whole presentation is about. It's about that natural presentation sense. So, are we done with our supercomputer?
Yeah, well, for now.
For now, but if anything else comes up during the presentation, I think we're going to see a couple other things. And we can talk about adding these to the supercomputer. Otherwise, I'm going to take a photo of this, put it on Facebook, and show the best supercomputer in Yerevan. So, okay. So, part of this is that I say to the computer, hey guys, I want to buy a house. And the computer says, this does not compute. It's like, what? Like, I need to buy a house. And it doesn't, what do you ask me? If I say I want to buy a house, what's the first question you ask me?
How much money you
Okay, how much money do you want to spend? How big do you want the house to be? How many bedrooms do you want? Where? So you've got natural questions that come back to me. Why are you doing it? So you can get some information, so that you can process in your brain things that you know about, people that you know about, and then you guys are automatically, naturally feeding back to me. But if I say to the computer, I want to buy a house, it just sends me a Google page of like, you know, a house selling website that I have to then browse, and I have to do all the work. Like everything is like the human, and the computer is just like pulling some queries from a database, displaying them on a stupid HTML web page, and I got to scroll with my stupid mouse, and I'm just like, you know. So what is this all about? I mean, this is the classic example of, and everyone's seen this. This is like where we are right now. This is where the technology is right now. It's scary, right? If we write the word attached in our email, then and we don't attach a file, Gmail will say like, hey, did you mean to attach a file? It's the first time I saw that I thought, like, wow, the computer's actually being useful for once. You know, it's actually like trying to save me from making a mistake. It's trying to be, cool, hi Harold, we're slowly cooking here, but it's fine, you know, like, yeah, group cooking. So it's about, you know, and the program is there to support me to find out whether or not I could attach a file. Now, this could be done better. And if I get you guys to start thinking about this, how could it be done better? Instead of asking me, did I mean to attach a file?
Open the browser.
Open the browser?
No, the browser.
File.
File browser, okay. What else could it do?
Understand what file you need and attach it.
Yes! Right, so the one guy in the room knows exactly what, he's saying, get the computer to attach the file I want. Don't ask me stupid questions, just send the email with the file that I wanted originally. How does the computer understand that? Well, based upon the email, based upon my previous history, you know, probably somebody's asking me for a sales quote or something that I'm attaching, and it's like, it just goes and finds all that. And it could, at least it comes back with two options, like, you know, here you go, have this or this one. Do you want to attach this? Yeah. The thing is that this room know how complicated that is. It's so hard to have a big data database with everything going on and whatever. But that's part of what the future of computing is about. And we're not far away from this. We're not far away. So I want to talk about the evolution of the computer mouse. And this is an example I want to give because we all are very familiar with the computer mouse. And this is, we're talking about this back in the end of the 1960s, 70s. I think was the first ever one released. This was a prototype made in somebody's garage. A little bit of plastic. It has a wheel inside. It has a couple of cables and a little button that you have to push with your finger, and that's kind of the first computer mouse. This is now, right? This is the like top-end gaming mouse, and look at this thing. Oh yeah, you got your touchpad mouse. You've got Magic Mice from Apple. So you've got this really futuristic mouse set. What is better about this than this? From a human-computer interaction point of view, I would argue nothing. Exactly nothing. I mean, all this does is it has more features, more functionality. It's more engineers like you guys in the room saying we need to add a screen, hologram, sound, smell, this, that. And that's exactly what this is. This is for gamers so they can have a rolly wheel, forward, a back, a up, a down, a thing, a left, a right, a game, and it's all comfortable for your hand and everything. It's more comfortable. It's better designed. It's more attractive for teenagers. But yeah, it's a nice mouse. But it's just a mouse, and it hasn't solved human-computer interaction. It hasn't made things better. This is a concept thing that I'm sure some of you guys are following on Kickstarter. People are trying to raise money. This is a guy saying, like, let's take it up to the next level. Mouse is a relatively simple thing. It takes X and Y coordinates on a relatively 2D screen, and it just moves things in 2D. And if you want to go up and left and down and right, your brain sends different signals to what you want to do. And there's certain things you can process. These guys have built this. It does work. You can put it on your head. And you can actually, move your mouse left and right, up and down, based upon your thought. It takes the thoughts through electrodes that are attached to your head. It helps if you don't have any hair, and that's why he's in the team, right? So it's really it's kind of like where people see the future of the mouse. What I love is that this and this is an innovation of this. But this is an evolution of this. This is a complete evolution, a complete step away from the technology. Nobody was thinking, how can I make the mouse track the table better? How can I make the mouse in my hand? The guy just said, like, you know what I want? I want thought control, and I want to move my mouse on the screen. But he's not, they still haven't done the next step. And the next step is giving the computer to give you direct feedback, right? So the computer also needs to give you feedback. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's called haptic interfaces. These are computer mice that you can control and move around, actually in 3 dimensions, but in 2 dimensions as well. And you move them around, but as you push, it pushes back. And as you turn, it turns back. So if something is hard to do, like I'm going in a game and I'm opening a door, and it's hard, then you can feel that hardness. Now the computer's giving me more feedback. Now I've got an input and an output. Nobody on the supercomputer put any haptic stuff. So, ta-da for me, like I'm going to write down haptic. 1 point for me. All right, so we have another feature that gives us more human-computer interaction. And this is where it gets interesting. So the second part of that is you guys had a screen. And I didn't hear anything exciting about the screen. I heard holographic. That was cool. Definitely futuristic. I like that. But how about something in the midterm? This is still a screen, but this is a screen that gives you a 3D sense. I think X-Tech were trying this out yesterday in the park. I've now put one of these things on order for the team because I just think that we should be walking around the office like, it's just great, you know? Anyway, this is an amazing piece of technology. What it gives you is it gives you the interface into a virtual environment. So you feel that you're part of a virtual environment. Why does it work better than stuff they had 20 years before? This is not new. I mean, there's nothing new about this. I think why it works better. Actually, Alessandro, can you say what your experience was like when you used it? What was nice about it?
I generally don't like 3D too much, and that's the first time that actually I found technology that can fool my brain to feel in a 3D environment. And it was natural, like if I was looking down like a steep cliff, I felt that I was like, afraid of heights. And it's because whatever I'm doing and I'm moving around, the computer knows and it adjusts what I'm seeing. And it gives me input directly to my brain to feel exactly the same sensory input that I would have in a normal situation. It's actually scary. Like I was falling over when I was on a roller coaster ride, and Gav would hold me up from the back. So it's very interesting, actually.
And the second thing we have to that, so that's virtual reality, let's say, and this is augmented reality. This is our current reality that we see, taking our human-to-human interaction and putting a computer in between the two and seeing things differently. So I see your face and I go like, oh, I don't remember your name. Sorry, I wish I did. And then I just see your name pop up above your head, And I mean, this works, right? Everyone's seen Google Glass. I'm not going to give you guys lectures on what's already there. This stuff is around. People have these in Yerevan. I also want to get one of these things ordered because I think it's fun to be able to have these new experiences with the world. Which way do I think is better? Well, I think neither are particularly good. They're both steps in the right direction. They're both offering us a chance to go into future interactivities, giving us computers between our world and ourselves, or computer worlds. Both are nice, but neither of these give us the full experience. One is a little pair of glasses, the other one's freaking huge goggles. So it's not there yet, right? But the technology is very clear, the direction. We can see that. We can see that from the evolution of the mouse all the way to what happened with the glasses. So what are we talking about today? Well, the other thing is that over here, I can say again, going from the background of our team and our customer. Oh, okay, you guys just watch the video. Okay, so what did I just show you guys? I'm sure some of you guys have heard of it. This is the leap motion. Geborg, my co-founder in the company, we were actually over in San Francisco a little while ago. We went to the Leap Motion headquarters. They gave us one. They said, hey guys, it's cool. Actually, we already had one, but hey, you know, if they're giving away free stuff, right? Which I should also mention, by the way, we're giving a free iPod downstairs. Anyway. Okay, another thing. So they gave us a free Leap Motion. And the reason why is because what our organization does is we definitely play with gesture control. Now, gesture was something that, again, nobody mentioned here. And that's one more point for me. So we got haptic, and now we got gesture. But what you just saw in that video is absolutely real. All of it is real. We have it running on this computer here, and we have a screen. I was thinking there was going to be like 3 people at this event. So now it seems like a bit too many people to do a demo, live demo. But if you want, we can try and finish a bit early, and then we'll set it up and demo it so you guys can come and touch and play with it. Everything's true. So when we were there in January, they said to us, guys, you know what we're doing? We're taking away just the fingertip tracking, and now we'll track the whole hands. And you move the fingers and everything will just work. You can pick up things, put things together. And we saw the dev preview, well, we saw the guys developing it back in January. Now they've just released the dev preview for the guys who are part of the organization. And it's something that we as a group actively work with. And the reason why is because that, as you just saw, gives us opportunities that we never had before. There's no keyboard, but there could be. But you can also work in 3D space. You can also have feedback through the system. So gesture is very exciting. Moving next, though, I want to talk a little bit about how where we see the technology being like right now. So all of this is bringing us forward. You can see that evolution of mouse, evolution of computers, having interactive devices, and now it's like, where is this all culminating right now? So what we do as a group, and this is just a practical example of what our vision is. I'm not going to showcase or try and sell our product, but instead what we envisage being very important for the world right now. And that's a product that we developed. And yeah, you guys can turn around and it's like, yeah, we have voice board. It's what we see as being something that's very important to the world. And that's bringing 2 things together, gesture control and voice control. But removing no keyboards, no mice, possibly just working with computers and designing with computers using gesture and voice. So hopefully this will play. Fingers crossed. It's a bit quiet, but anyway.
With our words, our lips, hands, and eyes. That moment in time is all about you. You need to leave an impression. Expectations only increase. Being unforgettable, voice forward, freedom to present natural, an unparalleled experience. Presentation where everyone is involved. Using voice recognition, you can visualize the audience feedback. Use gestures and move through your content. Search through online pictures and videos and really move in and out of your topics. Create the presentation from anywhere using your laptop or tablet. Do the rest with your voice and gestures. VoiceBoard saves everything and you can share the results with a wave of your hand. VoiceBoard allows you to be heard and seen. This technology changes the presentation.
Okay, so that's how we see human-computer interaction. And this is being developed right here in Yerevan at our office. And it's a lot of people to invite. But if you guys ever want to come by, just get in touch with one of us. And we'll arrange you guys to come and play with this stuff. We have Leap Motions and Microsoft Kinects. And this is an Intel sensor that does gesture control for computers. Oh yeah, the new Xbox and a whole bunch of other toys we have. In the end, what do we do?
Sorry.
Sure. Sure.
The output is visual. Is it possible to have that? If I'm visually impaired, can I get it? The output, something, somehow, sensed with my fingers?
We're almost there. We're getting to where I see the vision going. So, absolutely. I can give you some examples of what people are doing. They're taking gesture control, then they're putting an Oculus glasses on, and suddenly so it's a gesture that basically allows people to track human beings in natural space. And one of the coolest videos I saw, I didn't bring that video today, but one of the coolest videos I saw recently was a human being input into a virtual environment So they're wearing Oculus Rift headset. They can see themselves, but they see themselves in the environment. So the camera's capturing themselves and their movements. And they felt like they were in the real world. Because when you look at your hand and it still looks like your hand, that's a very weird experience. But the rest of the world, of course, looked a bit computery still. But can you imagine when things look very real? So anyway, I'm about to get to that point. But yeah, absolutely. The interesting challenge is to take this technology and do it forward. These things, these link motions are very affordable technology. So there's a lot of things you guys can do with it. There's a really cool development group. And we're even thinking about starting a development group here in Armenia for people interested in gesture control stuff, because we think it's a really cool sector. And voice controllers as well, as you saw. So I want to talk about one more thing, and that's, again, human-computer interaction, but again, another side of it. And I want to tell you about all these different sides, so that in your brains, after this presentation, you're leaving and thinking, wow. And then one of you guys in this room maybe works out how to put the whole thing together. Once you do have the whole thing together, that person in the room will not be a billionaire. That person will be a trillionaire. That person will be the richest person in the world. Because once you put that all together and you make humans and computers work together systematically, it changes our entire world. This video, I think, is really nice. This is about human thought control controlling hands.
I'm Sam Sheffer, and this is 90 Seconds on the Verge. The U.S. Food and Drug Association has approved the DECA arm system, a mind-controlled prosthetic that can do multiple simultaneous movements.
So this guy's controlling everything with his brain.
From around the world are working on similar limbs, but this is the first one with FDA approval. The DECA arm system is similar in size and weight to an actual human arm. It's capable of detailed tasks like using zippers, brushing teeth, and even handling fragile foods like grapes and eggs. The company has nicknamed it Luke after the character from Star Wars. Notice the similarities? The project is funded by DARPA, but developed by DECA, a company founded by Segway inventor Ian Cayman. Here's how it works. The DECA arm system is controlled by EMG electrodes placed on the remaining portion of the human arm. A computer processor translates muscle contractions into one of 10 specific movements. The system also uses a combination of switches and both movement and force sensors for control, some of which was showcased in a 60 Minutes report from 2009. This is Fred Downs, who was the Veterans Affairs official in charge of prosthetics.
First time in 40 years, my left hand did this.
With FDA approval, DECA can now bring the arm to market. With that said, there's currently no price and won't be until the company finds a commercial partner to mass produce. For more on the DECA arm system, check out The Verge. Coming up, DARPA announces a collaboration with Dharma.
All right, so the guy's going to keep pushing his show. What was cool about this is we're talking about something that was first shown 5 years ago, developed probably 7 or 8 years ago. And what you guys have to get in your mind is how quickly this technology is changing in our real world. We're not at the point anymore where we're thinking about, is thought control of a human arm possible? We're thinking about, actually, wait a minute, how much of the human can we control with our mind? Or how much of it can we rebuild? Or what can we do with just our mind linking to other things? The challenge there, as I'm sure some of the technical people noticed, is the challenge there was that they didn't have any way to network directly from the brain to the arm. And instead they were taking the electrical signals from the arm itself and from the muscle contractions you have, using the network in the human being. But how about if we could tap into that network?
There are some experiments with this actually, directly connecting to the nervous system of the human. So we are getting there.
So where does this bring us to? This brings us to the point where we start saying, okay, wait a minute, this is all becoming too futuristic, too science fiction. Is any of this really possible? Is any of this really real? And we start asking ourselves, wait a minute, let's look at the whole environment that we have, and let's think about where things are going to go. So with the human beings we have right now, let's say, and the computers that we have right now, what is the really missing component? And that missing component, we agree, is the natural interaction. And here's a great example from my favorite TV show of all time of a great human and computer interaction. And look at all the different parts that are there. It's the supercomputer built. If you guys don't watch Star Trek, you should.
Erase all programs filed under Reginald Barton. Accept program command.
So there we have Reg from the Starship Enterprise. And what is he doing? He's set up an entire virtual environment that has the haptic feedback you want. It has an area that he can walk in, he can touch, he can interface with. It has characters that are human-looking, and to the point that all of us watch a video and none of us know that it's not the real environment. That's how it has to be. There's no other way for human-computer interaction to ever get to any other point until it becomes completely like one. And that's where human beings, and that's what I believe, and I don't think this is like that far. I think some of the guys are young enough in the room to see some of this happening. Human beings will transcend from their current thinking. It won't be just whatever's in our head, but we'll be linked into a world that will be linked, mixing information and technology all together as one. And okay, we're not just there yet for this, but there is real experiments. You go to Microsoft Labs and these kind of places. These guys are really building rooms covered in screens with 3D that you walk and you have gesture feedback in, and the room responds to what you're doing, and you move around, and you're in a virtual space, and after some time, you can't feel that real. Recently, I was with Gevorg in Los Angeles in the observatory, and they had this amazing trip through space, taking you on this thing. And I mean, I don't know, but for me,
it was cool.
I mean, you're gone. So the thing was, it was like a space observatory. You could see the stars and the things and everything. You know what was interesting about it? The quality of the resolution of the projectors, everything was so high that when I walked outside the observatory and looked at the sky, I asked Gevorg, I said it's the same. Like, is it real? And there was nothing. I mean, in my brain, there was absolutely nothing different from what I saw. The two were exactly the same. And can you imagine? I mean, that's where the technology is right now. We saw this just a few months ago. So being there, seeing the stars, seeing everything in the world and then suddenly someone clicking a switch and the world disappears and you're in front of your eyes, and then you go outside and you're not sure if it's real, that feeling reminds me that, wait a minute, humans and computers, the interaction is when it feels natural, when I don't know the difference. And when I don't know the difference, that's where the real magic happens. So I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon. I don't see that happening. I don't see this happening, let's say, in the next 5 years. But I do see this happening in the next 25. So I don't see this, I'm not talking about anyone like next lifetime or anything. I mean, this is all within our lifetimes. I'm getting old. But it's definitely within your lifetimes. So this is all happening right now. And if we look at where, let's say, again, I'm not trying to promote Microsoft. Microsoft has this really great video. It's a bit long, so I'm going to skip half of it. But I'll show you guys the first half of it. Of how they see the world in 2019. So you guys don't have to think too fast, like 5 years ahead. It's not 5 years ahead in Yerevan. I mean, I'll be honest. But I think it's 5 years ahead, in some parts of the world, in certain locations, in certain office buildings. I really could believe this. And I think it's a really nice video. So I'll let you guys see it. I'm not going to let it play for the full time. But again, I can give you guys a link afterwards if you want it. They were asked to do this to prepare something that would be a nice way of showcasing how the world is going to be in just a few years' time ahead. And none of this technology that you guys are seeing is fake. It's all real. I mean, it's just a matter of building it. Of course, everything you see in the video is fake, but hey.
This will be very useful in jail.
Sorry?
This will be very useful in jail. Yes, jail. In the meeting room.
Well, I think classrooms is how people think. I stand here, I talk, and I talk to... Creative thinking, like that. So we have interfaces, right, with touch. Okay, what's new about that? Nothing. We take the touch interface, but we put it in a comfortable environment so we can do other things, as we still have to live within our world, right? We still have problems like flying. These things are still necessary. But there's no reason why my boarding card can't be a little bit more technical. And that seems right. You just put an app on your phone, you could have that. So, okay, that's real. And if we take things into the office, we've got all this amazing space around our offices, but we don't utilize it. We just treat it as a wall. It's a wall. But why does it have to be a wall? Why does this have to be a whiteboard? I mean, So now we're dealing with some gestures. The gestures are really useful in environments where you're not dealing in just 2D, but you're starting to think in 3D. Controls that dynamically change to what you're currently doing. So now this guy is living in an augmented reality world, right? He's wearing his Google glasses or whatever, probably Microsoft glasses, but whatever. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up really soon because I said the video is a bit long. Actually, if anybody wants to watch the whole video, like, put your hand up. Like, we've got 2 more minutes of this. One hand. Okay, not going to work. All right. I love this part where, you know, the room is adapting to him, so he's moving through the place and it's helping guide him. So a lot of people are still focused on this. Oh, I love this part because this is kind of the area that I work in. So. Okay. So I'm wrapping that up there. What you saw is what a vision of what is realistic, technology-wise, probably 5 years from now. And I want you guys to understand how that's possible. Because in your mind, you're thinking, well, 5 years ago, we didn't have that kind of technology, so in 5 years, not possible. Because you think that technology is a linear process. Because our mind thinks linearly. We think in straight lines. We don't think about how things get so much better. But we know it, right? So deep down, you know that processes get twice as fast every couple of years. We know Moore's law exists and data storage gets bigger. We know this, but we don't feel it. We feel a world linear. We know that this year it took this long on a master's to get to the university. Next year it will take this long with the master's to get to university. And it's not going to change that much in the next few years. That's true for some things. But technology doesn't apply. You need to change your thinking. You need to understand that in 5 years, things will happen not twice as fast as they are now, but most likely we're already 4 or 8 times better than we are right now. And all the technology in all the different sectors, that's what all the engineers, developers, and everyone are working on. And that's where things get really exciting. Saying that in 2 years' time, I'm going to change the world by adding some of those features. So I want to talk about those kind of projects, because that's the type of projects that I worked with, I've been involved with all my life, and that's what I'm here in Armenia doing. And if you guys don't think it happens in Armenia, it really does. Projects like this, we don't do this, but this is a great project I saw very recently. The project name is Avatar. You guys seen the film, for sure. And the aim of the film was what? The guy jumps into the big machine thing, and he can like become an avatar on another planet that's a mechanical, biological body that he can control with his mind and with his movements inside of a machine far away, or remotely networked over space or something like that, right? So it was pretty extreme as far as movie. So a startup company decided like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's just take that and build that. And they think that in 2015 to 2020, so we're talking next year, you know, possibly in 5 years' time, that they can have a robotic human being, arms, legs, you know, the back muscles, everything, robotic human being remotely controlled with a, I think this is supposed to be body-computer interaction, BCI. Anyway, so a body-computer interaction system where gesture control and haptic feedback is happening so that he's able to control a robot. The US military are building exoskeletons. This stuff is really happening. It's real science, real stuff in labs working today. So it's not, that to me is like, sure. This part, like, you know, avatar with a human brain can be transplanted from the brain into another completely mechanical body. You know, true cyborg stuff. In 5 years, and some of you guys are like, oh, no way you can ever understand the brain in 5 years. But no one's understanding the brain here. All they're trying to do is like, cut the synaptic nerve, plug it into the USB port, and the USB 6, right? And
sound pleasant for the.
Yeah, it's not. It's like so. Yeah, and then suddenly, you know, you've got this, and you plug this into an avatar, and the avatar can still continue to exist. Maybe you can't continue to grow. Maybe the brain will eventually die, but you've got that thing. Then you've got an avatar that's got a brain inside of it, but then you can also transfer the human personality into another avatar. So we've already maybe made a new fake brain, or not maybe a fake brain, maybe we borrowed somebody else's brain, like, you know, somebody who died in a car accident who didn't want it because they were driving too fast. That's fine, I'll take that. And I'll copy paste my memories into that, just drag and drop, right? Actually, no, we won't drag and drop, we'll just, you know, just wave the stuff in. Does it seem realistic? This is where I start going like, huh. And why am I saying that? I'm saying that because I feel like, no, it can't happen in just 15 years. It just doesn't seem like it's long enough. But then if you remember that in 15 years, if we assume every 2 years things are getting twice better, twice better, twice better, twice better, suddenly things are like, you know, I don't want to guess the number, but hundreds of times more advanced than they are right now. 10 minutes, I'm already done. And then you've got 2020, 2040, 2045, hologram-like avatar. An avatar where what you guys saw, where you're in the Star Trek room and people are sitting there talking and you can't tell if that person's real or not real. You just someone's smiling back at you and you can't tell if it's real or not real. And it's just a light-generated projection display. I will predict today, here in AUA, this will happen sooner than 2040. I'm so sure of that. There's so much engineering going into this right now that people will have holographic people sitting in rooms long before 2040, like very soon. I would even guess like possibly like, you know, 20 years away. So it doesn't seem to me that it fits very well. And that's kind of what I want you guys to imagine. That's where this whole industry is going. So I'm going to wrap this up with, again, a very short video. Our favorite video as a team. It's the one that we all get inspired by. And I hope that this video will leave you guys inspired because it's one of the coolest characters from I don't know, the cartoon world, let's call him. And he and his powers and everything, I mean, everyone's seen this already, so there's nothing new here. But the cool thing is that this inspired us to take a journey, to build a business, to do exactly this thing. And that's what I wanted to leave you guys with. The inspiration to either join with other people who are inspired to not just make the mouse a little bit better, not to just re-innovate, you know, the latest scripts to make it a bit faster, to run on a slightly bigger database, but to reimagine the entire world of computers, to reimagine user interfaces, to rethink the supercomputer so that you're not starting off by designing the computer with features, but you're starting off by asking, what does the human want to see? What does he need to feel? And then solving the problems from that. So here's the video. It's just a minute long. So Tony Stark from Iron Man. The coolest engineer. I mean, this is what I want before I die. This is my life. You know, this is what I want to be. We've got holographic projections. He has speech control. I think he has some thought control when he's in the Iron Man suit doing stuff. He has haptic feedback. We're giving it a name? Love that. We're giving it somebody else's name? All right. Okay. The robotic avatars. Okay, and that more or less is the end of my presentation. So I believe that the future is ours to make. It's entirely here. You guys might think like, yeah, this stuff can't happen in Yerevan. Nobody's doing this stuff in Armenia. Question?
I have a question.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
scared of the negative effect of using too much technology.
Am I a technophobe? No, I own a technology company. I had a computer since I was 3 years old. I've grown up with them. I spent probably like 16 hours a day in front of the damn things. Like, do I hate them? Yes, I hate them. But a very important thing. Do I understand what they do for the benefit of humanity? I understand that humanity and technology is just it's on one path to join together. It is everything that we need to make our lives about what we need. We need emotional inputs. We need feedback that gives us, sensory benefits from all of our different senses. And we don't need to have technology that frustrates us every time we log in, blue screens us every time we try and do something, hurts us every time that we're trying to work with it because it's like too slow. What we need technology that just works. So that when I want to buy a new house, I just come into the room and go, look, I want to buy a new house. It comes in my mind, and boom, this room is suddenly turned into new house options. And I can start experiencing that and drawing that because that's what I need right now. And it could be holographic. It could be, with my gesture so I can pull things up and pull up these walls and everything. But that's how I think technology should be. So yeah, it's a bit scary.
Because like in most of the science fiction books,
Yeah.
like, they have their own mind and they destroy people.
Sure. Sure. So we might as well enjoy our time while we're here. That's my first opinion. My second opinion about the Terminator doomsday scenario is this. Yeah, time's up. All right, don't worry. Just keep waving papers. I got it. What I think about the Terminator doomsday thing is it's very possible through our ignorance if we build technology that we only control. And you know what that'll be? That'll be people, engineers, building computers. So engineers building things that were not built with the human in the center. They built that with the computer in the center. They built a faster airplane, a better missile, a better drone, a better whatever. They built a computer. And they focused on the features of that computer. That computer became so smart that one day it goes like, well, these human beings are stupid.
Yeah,
exactly. But if we build everything and we flip it and we change the human in the center, and the technology focuses around the human, because it was human-computer interaction. The human is first. And we should worry about the human first, but we don't. All of us here, we focus on the frameworks and the other stuff that Ruben was talking about. I mean, it's really important to focus on the technology, but the technology only comes after we understand what the human need is and what the human needs to desire. And none of us humans particularly want flying robots coming around shooting us, so I don't think that's what we're going to do. But that's my opinion.
So something like Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics. Get it? No?
Okay. So yeah, the future is definitely ours to make. Guys, this was a pleasure giving you a thing. If you want to know more about what we do in Yerevan, find one of the guys wearing the little lion sharp shirts. We're around. This is all we do from morning to night, and we're very interested in technology. We're very interested in. I think we have no more time in the room, right? It's up. But we'll do a very quick, like, 2-second demo here for anybody who wants to see it, at least that. Otherwise, try and arrange an appointment, come to the office and play with stuff. So, okay, Alessandro, see if you can, like, look it up. Thanks, guys.